hand to push a lock of purple hair from her eyes. She'd been growing it out lately, and it was in that in-between stage where it would be an annoyance before it became manageable. "You've gotten a lot of compliments on the cider." "That's good to hear. I was worried everyone would expect us to serve coffee." "There have been some requests, of course, but after they tried a sample of the cider, all complaints dried right up." I tried not to let the compliment affect me, but I couldn't help but grin. The hot apple cider recipe was my late mother's own. It seemed the perfect drink for a day that was turning chilly. "I'll take one of those ciders." Paul Dalton slid an arm around me, causing me to jump. His smug grin told me he'd done it on purpose. "Aren't you supposed to be on duty?" I asked, playfully shoving him away. "I am," he said, "but nothing says I can't enjoy myself while doing it." Paul was in full uniform, and I couldn't help but appreciate the view. His sandy brown hair was tucked under a wide-brimmed police hat, which was oddly fetching. His uniform fit him rather snugly, which, of course, drew the eye right to his, well, assets. When he turned his deep blue eyes and dimples on me, a flash of warmth shot through me that had me near sweating. Lena was all smiles as she handed Paul a hot cider. He took a tentative sip before taking a much larger gulp. "This is pretty good," he said. "You make it sound like you weren't sure it would be." He shrugged, dimples deepening even more. "Not a big fan of apple drinks. This might make me change my mind about that." "Rita was by a few minutes ago," Lena said, leaning her arms on the counter. "She was looking for you." Rita Jablonski was a friend of mine and was also the biggest gossip in all of Pine Hills. She had to be thrilled with an event like this because it would allow her to people-watch to her heart's content. She'd likely come across some new, juicy piece of gossip she couldn't wait to share with me. "I'll keep an eye out for her," I said. "Do you need me to stick around and help out?" There weren't many people in the tent now, but if the rain were to hit, it could get busy very quickly. Lena glanced at Jeff, who shrugged. "I think we'll be okay. Beth said she'd be back in an hour, and Vicky and Mason are around here somewhere. Go and have fun." She looked at Paul, and then shot me a sly wink. A part of me felt guilty for leaving Jeff and Lena to work the booth alone, but it wasn't like there was much to do until the rain did hit. The cider was kept warm, not scalding hot for safety reasons, and looked well-stocked for now. I'd need to check back in an hour or so to see if I needed to throw together a fresh batch. If the rain didn't strike first, that was. "Text me if you need me," I said, patting my back pocket to make sure my phone was still where it should be. "I won't be far." Paul was waiting a few steps away, sipping his cider. I stopped over one of the many taped-down power cords and joined him. "Having fun?" I asked him. "Surprisingly, yeah. I had to break up one argument over by the games tent, but otherwise everyone is behaving themselves." "I can't believe we're going to pull this thing off," I said, pausing to watch a man approach the cider booth and deposit a 20 into the donations jar. "We might be able to not just put food on some tables, but stock the food bank for a week afterward." "You're doing a good thing," Paul said. "The town is." We stood silent as we took in our surroundings. Beneath the scent of cider, I could smell hot dogs and fried food and cotton candy. Kids were shouting and running around, often with semi-harried parents yelling at them to be careful. There was a cheer over by the games tent where multiple carnival games were taking place. Someone must have won one of the bigger prizes. My smile faded as my gaze traveled past the tents and smiling crowds to the horizon. The dark clouds appeared to be a whole lot closer. Paul saw where I was looking and patted my arm. "It'll hold off." "It better." "Come on." Paul started to reach for my hand, but seemed to realize he was still on duty and it wouldn't look professional, because he pulled it back before he could take hold. "Let's walk." With one quick glance back toward Lena and Jeff to make sure they were okay, I followed after Paul. We stepped out from beneath the tent into sunlight that was being filtered by far too many clouds for my liking. I swear the temperature had dropped another 10 degrees since I'd entered the tent, though it was likely a result of standing next to the heater for so long. "I saw Will," Paul said. His words were spoken as leisurely as his gait, which was slow and relaxed, but I could hear an underlying current beneath it. I couldn't tell if it was curiosity or jealousy. I did too. I refused to look toward the candy tent just in case Will was still there. "Did you talk to him?"